The United Kingdom has voted for financial ruin. Donald Trump is a stone's throw away from being the president. Terrorist groups cast fear all over the world. But it's okay, cause Crash Bandicoot is back. Right? For a lot of people, Sony announcing the return of Crash at E3 was a bit like... But why is this such a big deal? Well, back in the 90s, Crash was the mascot that helped establish the PlayStation as the cool console. He threw insults at Nintendo in the English commercials.
Boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived. Pack up your stuff!
And started a weird dance craze in Japan. Unlike a certain other mascot, Crash actually had good games to back up all the attitude. Sure, Crash 1 hasn't aged amazingly well, but 2 and 3 are timeless. The controls are tight, they're easy to pick up, but there's plenty of challenge, tons of secrets, and different styles of levels to break things up. Of course, when the PS2 launched, Crash was bounced around different developers, and things went from good to bad faster than every relationship that I've ever had. It's okay. I'm fine. Wrath of Cortex was first, and there's not much to say. It's a carbon copy of Crash 3, but with added 6th gen features like... Following that, we got Crash Twinsanity, which tried to take the series in a new direction. Instead of warp rooms, all the levels are connected in a free-roaming world. This linear progression allows the game to tell the most in-depth story in the series so far, with plenty of cutscenes to break up the action.
I'm okay! The spikes broke my fall.
The game plays like classic Crash, but you get new ways to play by teaming up with Cortex. You get to use him as a hammer, ride him like a snowboard, grind on rails using his... and engage in some... You know, for kids.
Crash at Cortex? I don't know whether to kiss you or kill you!
There are these segments where you have to protect Cortex by disarming traps in time, which are quite inventive. You even get to play as Cortex and new character Nina for some shooting and grappling sections to make things up even further.
The check bounced! Are you sure? Well, the past few years have kind of been slow. Wrath of Cortex didn't do as well as we'd hoped, and... Fish?
Going by everything I've said so far, you'd think this game was up there with a classic trilogy, wouldn't you? Well, unfortunately, Crash Twinsanity isn't actually complete. I mean, there is a beginning, middle and end, and the game is certainly playable, but basically, what happened is this. Okay y'all, we need a hit game for Christmas 2004. How's that brash Bandicoot game coming along? It still needs a lot of work. I'd say it's only about 3/4 done. 3/4 you say? Great! Get it out in October. Say when? Early October. Say what? I don't see the big deal. 3/4 is 1/4 more finished than Assassin's Creed. Money, money, money. Say who?
Deadly go, deadly
But it's not just the glitches. The level design can be pretty lazy, and the game is really short because so much had to be cut. The movement isn't as smooth as it could be, and sometimes you die from things that you really shouldn't die from. There's a few annoying platform game relics, like not being able to grab onto a ledge, or having to recover from a jump. It's not as bad as Conker's Bad Fur Day, but then I think being massaged by a lion isn't as bad as Conker's Bad Fur Day. In spite of all this, Twinsanity is pretty well remembered, and it's commonly accepted that another 6 months to a year in development would have made Crash Twinsanity something really special. The soundtrack, as you've heard throughout the video, is fantastic. And even better than that, it's all a cappella. There's samples of Flight of the Bumblebee and Row 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 Your Boat amongst the tracks, which is kind of insane, but in a good way. And the main theme is just so goddamn catchy, it's like musical herpes. The writing and voice acting are also great. The humour has more innuendo and it's a bit more over the top, but it still feels like Crash. And that's why this game is still enjoyed by the fans.
Coming through! Ladies? Excuse me, madam. Are those real? Mother?
You can tell the developers are really big fans of the series and wanted to push it forward. Even though they jettisoned a lot of the formula, they retain enough of the spirit of Crash and the gameplay bits you remember so you don't get put off. So Aku Aku still gives you protection, 100 Wumpa Fruit gives you an extra life, and Nitro Boxes...
Hey! Yeah, you! I've been doing this for 10 stinking years! Back and forward, and I'm sick of it! Well, I'm not gonna do it no more!
Do that. I thought it was important to end on this point about feeling like a proper Crash game, because Twinsanity was, for many people, the last proper Crash game that we got. Join me next time when I take a look at the radical reinvention of Crash Bandicoot.